This is a book that I've recently become interested in, and it's done by Ching and his friends, who is promoting the Papahanaumokuakea movement to protect the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands. Anyway, I'd like to read you guys the book called Book-Honu and Hina, a story of coexistence. It was illustrated by all of his friends, artists. Because Honu and Hina was painted with the help of many artists. Mahalo to you all who put your love into this book, and to those working to keep the harmony of nature intact. Honu and Hina. Dedicated to Honey Girl, a gentle Honu that touched many lives, and Hina, a Hawaiian monk seal who inspired us to learn about nature. Mahalo, thank you for showing us how to coexist and live well together. The evening sky glowed with the light of a full moon as the waves crashed upon the sandy Hawaiian shore. High up on the beach, a patch of sand began to move. Honu, a baby green sea turtle, poked his tiny head out of the sand for his first look at the world above. All of a sudden, dozens of baby sea turtles erupted from the sand like a volcano of little turtles, all pushing each other to make it to the top. The turtles scrambled down to the beach, through the crashing waves, and out into the vast ocean. As the full moon made room for the morning sun, another miracle of life was unveiled. A newborn monk seal pup saw her first sunrise. This shiny black pup had a round white birthmark on her hip that looked like a full moon. As she grew, her black fur changed to silvery gray. The people of the island called her Hina, after the goddess of the moon. Hina became quite famous because she was the first monk seal to be born on the island in recent history. The years went by, and Honu and Hina grew older and stronger. Though they never met, they lived through many of the same adventures. They escaped dangers such as unattended fishing nets that could entangle them, hungry sharks that could bite them, and boats with propellers that could hit them. Many of their family members and ancestors were not so lucky. Some of them had been hunted by humans back in the days before laws protected turtles and seals. The laws were created because the numbers of these animals had dropped so low that they were in danger of becoming extinct. One day, after Honu finished grazing on limu, or seaweed, he felt like going ashore to bask on the beach in the midday sun. Honu came ashore, and it was good. He fell asleep at the water's edge as the lapping waves gently pushed his flippers back and forth. Honu woke to a strange sound coming from a rock next to him. Funny, he thought, that rock wasn't there when I fell asleep. The rock started to breathe and snort, then it rolled over right onto Honu. Whoa, said Honu, you're not a rock. No, I'm a monk seal, said Hina. I thought you were a rock, so I came to snuggle up next to you. Honu and Hina became close friends and often came to shore to bask on the beach together. At many places, people would look after them by putting up rope barriers and reminding other people how important it was to give these animals enough room to rest. One day, Honu and Hina swam to a beach where a man named Keone and his daughter Pua were trying to catch fish. Keone and Pua had seen turtles before, but this was the first time they'd ever seen a seal at their favorite fishing spot. It wasn't long before Hina began playing with a fish that was actually the bait on Keone's fishing line. After Hina moved the bait fish from the hook, and Honu swam away quickly in a fury, Honu brushed against the fishing line and its hook got stuck in his flipper. Hana Pa, we hooked something, screamed Pua as the fishing pole bent and the bell attached to it started ringing. Keono reeled the line and saw that he had hooked Honu. "Oh, way, too bad," he said as he removed the hook and released the Honu. Though he was hurt, Honu was thankful to be alive and free. Keone and Pua went home. They were excited to have seen a monk seal at the beach. They were also disturbed about the seal taking their bait and the Honu getting hooked. Pua told the story to her Tutukani grandfather. Tutukani said, "I know Honu well. In ancient times, the Honu was respected food known for its life force. Only the Ali'i chiefs were allowed to eat them. In my lifetime, we ate them at our family luau feasts." Then the restaurants began to serve Honu. As people's appetites for Honu grew, the number of turtles declined. After a while, Honu became rare and they would flee in fear of the sight of a human. That's when the modern-day kapu, protective laws, began and Honu started to come back. Some people would like to be able to eat Honu again. "How could anyone eat a turtle?" asked Pua. Tutukani said, "The same way we eat kalo, taro, iai, fish, and pua'a, pig. We respect our food and thank it for nourishing our bodies." This gave Pua something to think about. "And what about the monk seal?" she asked. Tutukani answered, "I have never seen one, but once in a while they were spotted in the ocean when I was a boy. Your Auntie Kehau studies them at the university. She will know about monk seals." Auntie Kehau had researched the history of the Hawaiian monk seal. When Pua and her father came asking about the seals, Auntie Kehau gave them some answers. Monk seals have lived in Hawaiian Islands for millions of years. They are the oldest and rarest kind of seals in the world. The seals likely lived on the Hawaiian Islands before there were people living in Hawaii. After humans came to the islands, the seals lived mostly in the tiny remote highland Hawaiian islands called atolls. These atolls lie to the northwest of the main islands. They are all that remain of the large islands that once towered high above the seas. The Northwestern Hawaiian Islands are now called Papahanaumokuakea, named for the union of Earth Mother Papa and Sky Father Wakea. They gave birth, Hanau, to the islands Moku. Auntie Kehau showed Keone and Pua some very old photographs of seals and Honu on the tiny Hawaiian atolls. Pua was saddened by some of the pictures of animals that were hunted by people. Auntie Kehau reminded her that it was now against the law to harm or kill these animals. In the 1980s, some of the monk seals began to swim down to the main Hawaiian Islands to beaches where they had not lived for centuries. First, Niau Island, then Kauai, then the rest. Soon seals were being born on all the main islands, sometimes even on crowded beaches. Auntie Kehau went on to say, "Just because you see more seals around the main islands nowadays, don't be fooled. They are critically endangered species and need our help to survive." Then Auntie Kehau told stories of other Hawaiian animals that had gone extinct, such as the u'u and the po'ui birds. Extinct mean that they have gone and will never be seen on Earth again, she said. The alala Hawaiian crow, once plentiful and even considered a pest, is now completely gone in the wild. Just a small number of them live in special buildings where scientists work to keep the species alive. There are happy stories of animal survivals as well. Hawaii's state bird, the nene goose, was once nearly extinct with only a couple of dozen birds left in the wild. With people's help, the nene made a successful comeback and is now thriving for future generations to appreciate. Kohola, humpback whales, are also overhunted and now protected and making a comeback. It's amazing to watch them breaching or jumping out of the water and splashing back into the sea. As for the Hawaiian monk seal, its numbers are so low that it could easily slip into extinction, as the Caribbean monk did in the 1950s. Rather than getting mad at the monk seal for taking your bait or your favorite spot on the beach, consider its importance in the world and its natural right to exist, added Auntie Kahau. On the way home, Keone and Pua had a lot to discuss. They shared with Tutukani what they had learned. The next day, they all went to the beach to go fishing at their favorite place. There, on the very spot where they were going to set up, were Honu and Hina basking in the warm sand. Keone exclaimed, "Eh, they're in our spot." Tutukani put his hands on Keone's shoulder. This was the first time he had seen a Hawaiian monk seal or even a live Honu on the beach. Tutukani spoke, and his son Keone and granddaughter Pua listened closely to his words. "I am thankful for the return of the Honu and the monk seal. Look at them, how they share the beach. There is plenty of room for all of us." Keone turned to his daughter Pua and said, "We can find a way to share the Aina, the living earth." Pua smiled. She realized that she and her friends would soon be adults and that the fate of the Aina would be in the hands of their generation. Honu and Hina rested peacefully on the beach. Though their future seemed uncertain, they knew the present was a gift.